Shalom. I'm going to welcome you to Shmu's Views. I'm Shmuel ben Shlomi. I want to introduce to you today a couple of siblings that have been human companions since the very beginning of human beings. And they're called the Yetzers. Everyone is very familiar with these two, even if they are not familiar with their name. Different circles, religious circles, philosophical circles, have posed different ideas about exactly what the Yetzers are. And those siblings are Yetzer Hatov and Yetzer Hara. And Yetzer simply means inclination. So we have the good inclination and the evil inclination, or bad inclination. And they have been companions with human nature since the very beginning of human beings. Now, in some circles, such as certain Christian circles, most Christian circles actually, if they follow the predominant Christian view of sinful behavior and follow the Pauline, or the teachings of the Christian person called the Apostle Paul, he really hyped on this idea, not about an inclination, but that human beings were by nature sinful because they're born into sin as a result of the original sin of the parents of all humanity, which in Bereshit, or Genesis, we learned was Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve. Within Judaism, we do not believe this. It has never been a foundational belief system or foundational teaching, and it's nowhere found in Torah that human beings are born sinners. It just isn't there. Human beings certainly have the capacity for sin. They have the ability to sin. We see it all the time. And they can sin on various levels, from what people would consider minor to the most horrific of sinful behavior, as we witnessed on October 7th over in Israel, when Hamas displayed for the whole world. In modern times, we as Jews have been well aware of this type of behavior within us and within our tribes and from without by those who come against us, this sinful behavior. But these Yetzers have been with us, like I said, from our beginnings. However, the Yetzers are not displayed or expose themselves until one very necessary thing comes into existence, and that's a mitzvah, a commandment. And so one has to ask, why did Hashem then allow this Yetzer to become part of the human being's process of development? Well, what is Yetzer? Yetzer is simply an inclination. And you have two, Yetzer Hatov and Yetzer Hara. The good inclination or the evil or bad inclination. They are not in existence. Now, there are some, I know, within Judaism itself, who teach that the very first inclination was the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. Some of our greatest rabbinical minds have taught that. And it's only until the age of 13 or 14, during the Bar Bat Mitzvah, that the Yetzer Hatov kicks in because of the introduction in the lives of the Jewish person. They're coming of age, and they're beginning to really comprehend and understand the Torah with its mitzvot. I don't agree with that, but and there are a lot like me who don't. The Yetzers have always been here. Not part of our human nature. Our human nature, when you read the stories of the creation of humanity, is good. Yetzer Hatov. If anything was first, it was that. The Yetzer Hatov. Because when Hashem created everything, including us human beings, he looked at us and said, it is what? Good. Therefore, if there was any inclination that was primal, it was the good. And how could it be otherwise? For we were created in the image and likeness of Hashem. As I've stated before, not physically, of course. Hashem has no physical body, so we don't look like Hashem physically. But the likeness and the image of Hashem is us, our spirit, our true selves. When we put off this avatar, this physical body, we return to him from which we came, and we're like him. We are the perfect, exact image and likeness of Hashem. While in these avatars, these physical bodies, which has its own purpose and desires, and we came here to experience those, the very first inclination is always the good. That's why we call children innocent. Not innocent in the sense that they're not capable of doing wrong things that, disrupt the flow of the family. But they're, by their very image and likeness of Hashem, are good. And that's really until the mitzvot is introduced, the mitzvot of Hashem, the Yetzer Hatov, the Yetzer Hara, has no way of really impressing itself upon them. So there are basically then three things that are needed for human nature to mature and develop while in these avatars. And the first thing that is necessary is a commandment. And when you look in the story of Genesis, now Genesis is not a literal story, especially the first 3 or 4 chapters. It's not literal. There's a great lessons to be taught there about humans and our relationship with Hashem. There was a first human being somewhere out there. There had to be a pair of humans. We've decided to call them Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve. Regardless of what their names were, there came a point in their development as human beings where they were ready for the introduction of a commandment. And why was that necessary? Well, a commandment requires a response from those being commanded. And the commandment must always come from someone greater than to who the commandment's being given to. And in the case of Genesis, the giver of the commandment was Hashem, the creator of all that is. And he gave it to these human beings who were at the stage in their development while in these avatars, these physical bodies, to receive that commandment and then act upon it. And once the commandment is given, immediately then, the inclination to either do good or do evil based upon the commandment becomes available to the human being. It's not a sinful nature. Human nature is not sinful. It is simply human, with an inclination to be able to do good or to do bad. If you listen to the Apostle Paul, human beings have no choice. They are born corrupted. They are born stained through and through with a nature that is automatically disobedient to anything coming from heaven, from Hashem. That is so far from the truth. We human beings are capable of evil. We are capable of good. And the reason that the inclination was necessary in the human being is because, as I said, we are being perfected. We aren't born perfect. Nowhere in the Torah does it say we are born perfect. We are to be perfect. And how does that happen? It happens through the introduction of mitzvot, commandments from Hashem. The purpose of the commandment is to perfect us to be more like Him. And in order to be perfected, we have to have one thing that no other created being or created thing, at least on planet Earth, has: choice, the freedom to choose. And if you have the freedom to choose, then you have to have an inclination to choose, to obey, to follow, or to disobey, to rebel. Those are our choices. We have free choice, but we don't have unlimited free choice. We have choices within the boundaries that Hashem has set for human beings. The commandment says, you shall not kill, you shall not murder. It doesn't mean we don't have the responsibility of protecting our family, ourselves, our communities, our friends, neighbors, even sometimes those we don't always agree with. The commandment is, though, we do not kill, murder. But sometimes putting something down, putting another human being down, if they have totally given in to their Yetzer hara, their evil inclination, sometimes they need to be put down. Not only for the good of the community, or the world even sometimes, but the good of their own soul. Therefore, Hashem gives a commandment. He has already placed within us the ability to choose, and we call that the Yetzer Hatov and the Yetzer Hara, the good inclination, the bad inclination. Our very nature is good. Our very nature is like Hashem. But while in these avatars, we are not perfect. We are being perfected. It's the whole reason why we come here, to experience the process, if you will, of being perfected. On the other side, if you will, of eternity, we are all good. There is no Yetzer Hatov. There's no Yetzer Hara. We are simply, as God originally created all beings that are in His image and likeness, we are good. There's no challenges on the other side. There's no development on the other side. We are, as we were created, good. We come here. We experience the whole process of being human in order to become perfected. And the way we become perfected is through the mitzvot that the Torah gives us, given to Moshe by Hashem. It's a maturing process. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you are by nature a sinner in need of eternal redemption through the sacrifice of any living human being. No. In fact, human sacrifice is the harshest abomination that Hashem gives to humanity. He loathes human sacrifice for any reason whatsoever. Human beings do not find redemption in the sacrifice of a human being. They can find covering of their acts of disobedience, and that's what sin is. It's transgression. It's disobedience to the mitzvot of Hashem. And the inclination, some people liken it, you got a little angel up here, okay, whispers in your ear. When you're told to do something or follow a certain thing, that little demon comes up here and whispers in your ear and says, you don't want to do that, do this instead. And the other one sits up here and goes, no, it's best that you do, you follow the mitzvot, you follow the commandment, or you follow the instruction. Okay? Those are the Yetzers, the Yetzer twins, if you will. And where we fit in is we're in the middle, given what Hashem has given us, the ability to choose. Which way will we go? Will we incline our ear to hara, or will we incline our ear to tov? The choice is ours. Always has been, always will be. Even in the days of Mashiach, that will not change. As long as human beings exist, as long as we, eternal spirits created in the image and likeness of God, the image and likeness of Hashem, choose to take on physical form, living avatars, created avatars, the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Hatov will be our companion. Once we shed these mortal coils, as they say, that will no longer be the case. We're pure good. So I hope that helps. You're not born with a sinful nature. You're not born with 3 strikes against you already. You were born good in the image and likeness of God. Now the question is, which way will you lean? Which inclination will you follow? The more you follow Yetzer Hatov, following the mitzvot, the more perfected you become. The more you follow the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, the more corrupted and less developed you become, to the point where you can go so deep in the depths of disobedient behavior that you can justify almost any behavior that is evil. As I said, we've seen that before. We've seen it throughout the ages. Man's inhumanity to man. Why? Because those that perform such acts, regardless of what name they're doing them for, whether it's the name of religion, the name of, being a patriot, anything, it doesn't matter. Whatever name you're doing it for, whatever cause you're doing it for, if you're following the inclination of Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, then you are failing in your development to be perfect as Hashem is perfect. But if you follow the Yetzer Hatov, follow the mitzvot, the commandments of Hashem, found exclusively in the Torah, then you will develop and be perfected and be a light to the nations and a repair, a tikkun olam, a repair of this world. My best to you. I hope this is helpful for some of those who have always struggled. Why is this internal strife going on inside all the time? These 2 siblings on either one of my shoulders. Why is this constant? And why is it stronger in some things? For some people, the Yetzer Hara, they battle the sexual choices that have to be made. Others, they overindulge in certain things that are normal, like eating, drinking, things like that. They overindulge in it because they've listened to the Yetzer Hara. Listen to the Yetzer Hatov. It's inside of you. Listen to it. It's you. Listen. Follow the commandments found in Torah. And the Yetzer Hatov will guide you and help perfect you. I hope this has been helpful, like I said, especially to my Jewish brothers and sisters who have been caught up in this concept of Christianity, that you are born without hope, apart from some human sacrifice. No. You were born in the image and likeness of Hashem. You were created that way. You're born that way. Every time you incarnate, you go through that maturing process. And whoever you listen to the most, whatever inclination, there's a story of, and I love this because it's a perfect example of the Yetzer twins. The story of two wolves. And they're coming against the sheepfold. And someone wants to know, how do we defeat these wolves? We have a good wolf over here who comes around but doesn't harm the sheep at all. But we have this other wolf over here who every time he comes into the sheepfold, he tries to destroy the sheep. What do we do about that? And a wise sage looked at him and said, it all depends on which one you feed the most. Well, they're wolves. They're siblings. The Yetzer Hatov and the Yetzer Hara, they're siblings. But which one are you going to feed? Who and which one are you going to incline toward? The more you incline towards the Yetzer Hara, the more powerful, stronger it gets over your life. If you feed Yetzer Hatov through obedience to the commandments of Hashem, every day that good inclination becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. The battle will always be there as long as you're in these physical bodies, these avatars that we inhabit at the moment. But the one you feed the most will become the strongest and the most influential in your life. I pray to Hashem that you feed the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. And you do that, as I said, by following the mitzvot. Until next time, have a pleasant day and shalom.